I'm Sonic, Sonic the Hedgehog. I was framed for robbing a bunch of banks by a cheap knockoff and laughed myself right into a cell on Prison Island. While rescuing some of my animal friends, I learned my anthropomorphic animal friends showed up to rescue me. We all escaped from Prison Island together and there was a huge explosion. Then I got an extreme makeover. What happened next is sort of a blur, and that's me talking. Anyway, Amy and Tails are still pretty upset with me. But we have bigger eggs to fry at the moment. The not-so-good doctor has a giant face laser pointed at my planet, where I keep all my stuff.
Thank you so much for joining us on the final part of the hero story of Sonic Adventure 2 roleplay. Let's just get straight into it, shall we? And we are going to start 50 years ago. More or less, probably more like 55. 50 odd years ago. We're going to open up on a view of Earth. Most of it, actually. You can see it's a part of it is shadowed by this large, fully intact moon that rotates around the planet. You can see the light shine off the planet, reflecting itself off of the sun, and all the blues and greens and colors of the life and the people down there. And we move further back and we see that we're looking from a glass window, a large window that doesn't quite go floor to ceiling but covers wall to wall. Inside this room we see a variety of things, children's toys, building blocks, little what look like little roller skates except they have a hover component to them. We see in a little cage there is what would look like a class pet, although in this case it's just a tiny little lizard that has these tubes hooked up to its neck and kind of like arching back to this little like turtle, this robotic turtle thing with a glowing button on top. It looks like those toys that you press the top of and they like make a noise, but it is an actual animal. And then finally, from off frame, so to speak, we see two hands reach down, set down a toy, in this, the Enrichment Center. And without saying a word, they reach onto the back of this little wind-up doll, which is this robotic blue doll with a propeller on its top, and just an eternally happy face. And it winds it up like a wind-up toy, and the little robotic doll starts to speak.
Oh boy, it's me! I'm here now! What can I assist you with?
Oh, today we were working on chemistry.
Oh, chemistry, that's my very favorite subject.
Oh. Ours too, right, Shadow?
The camera pans over, and there is just like a black and red ball in the corner, which uncurls and slowly turns around, and we see like a very young, just out of like toddler years, baby-faced hedgehog with still some of his baby fat, and giant big eyes that are with red, and two little fangs that come out of the side of his mouth, and just a tiny little scruff, like a cotton ball puff of white on his chest. His body, other than that, is all black at this point, and the only thing he's wearing are a set of two almost like booties that are like white and yellow, and a set of gloves, and around his arms and legs are 4 power rings, one on each limb, that are clearly too big for him right now. But he uncurls and turns around, looks over to the other child in the room, and quickly, almost faster than you can blink, positions himself between the girl and the new little wind-up toy. And he turns back towards the girl and says, "Assessing threat. Destroy? YN?"
So,
N!
no, Shadow. We're going to be doing chemistry today.
Ultimate life form is not programmed to take orders from toy. Maria, destroy? YN?
No, Shadow. First off, Maria, a young girl who's around like 6 right now. She's very young,
Very
but speaking in a pretty mature manner for her age. She's wearing like a little blue dress with a white smock, like a school smock, and has pretty short blonde hair tied up with a bow. Kneels down to Shadow. Remember, we're going to try to not say why, and we're going to say yes or no to start.
Maria, destroy? Yes or no to start?
Okay, that's good. But no, we're not going to destroy the teacher.
Understood. Do not destroy teacher. Maria, do you require any of my blood cells? I have many blood cells.
No, probably. That would be for biology class.
Maria, I also possess many white blood cells. The doctor was using them yesterday. Do you require any of my white blood cells?
Again, no, not right now, but maybe for biology class, but probably no. And if I needed them, you would need some of mine too.
Excellent, Maria. They are the ultimate blood cells.
You are pretty ultimate, Shadow, but...
I am the coolest. And he turns around in what he thinks is a very cool pose. But, you know, he's a little hedgehog with a pot belly and a little scruff of white hair, so it's about as cool as he can make it look. But he finally moves out of the way between Maria and Oma Chow and decides to watch from a safe distance with his arms crossed.
Maria looks at Oma Chow. What appropriate lessons do you have for both Shadow and I in chemistry?
I'm glad you asked, Maria. And at that, from off screen, Oma Chow pulls in one of those flippy chalkboards, and he flips it over. And for some reason, there are already these complicated formulas drawn on it. Like he's already prepared this.
When you produce the chalkboard, Shadow immediately positions himself between Maria and the chalkboard.
And I also need to point out a part of the scene is that Oma Chow has been set up as not being able to move his arms, so he just flew up in the air, lifted his legs off screen, and with the strength of a giant pulled off this giant chalkboard, and I love that about him.
He does have surprising amounts of strength for having no arms. So he's hovering, and even though he doesn't have arms, he somehow also produces a little pointer, and he's using the pointer to point at things, as you do. And he's like, the key part of any formula is the end part. The other parts don't really matter as long as you have goggles, and that's about it. There's no other safety equipment required, just goggles. Do you have goggles?
We do have them in
Shadow has no need for goggles.
I disagree. And I'm the teacher, so what I say goes. Safety is very important when you're doing chemistry.
Maria, destroy
Yes?
teacher, yes or no?
No. How about, Shadow, to make us both safer, you go find goggles in the storage cabinet.
He glares at Oma Chow, but he spins out of the room, and there's a little yellow trail, and he reappears almost instantaneously and says, "Goggles acquired."
Thank you, Shadow. Now I need you to put on one of these pairs and then give the other pair to Maria.
Shadow puts the goggles carefully above his spikes, making sure that none of them get he meticulously puts them on. But he doesn't actually put them over his eyes. He just puts them over his, above his eyes, the way Sonic characters do.
Yeah. Maria does the same. Sonic characters don't seem capable of wearing goggles.
Right.
And this is good enough. All over.
That's how you wear goggles. Yeah.
He never said to put them over his eyes. Come on.
Were this a video game, you would get the stat bonus from just having it on your head. So
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're safe.
This is enough. Right. Now, something that happens in chemistry sometimes is really big explosions. Today, we're going to try to make a medium-sized explosion. Like a safe one, like a contained one. Chemistry is all about experimenting with danger safely.
Shadow will make the ultimate explosion. And then there's an explosion, and we cut away.
And as we cut away, we cut away and we hear some like large explosive sounds, but we realize that this explosion is just a small contained explosion in a larger device.
Omochao takes safety seriously. That's why he had them wear
we cut
goggles.
away sometime in the future. We see this door, and it's a sci-fi door, so it opens to the side, and we see this older, slightly taller Shadow walk out. He's kind of nursing right here on his arm, about where you would get an IV. As he's walking out, behind him we can see, looking over some charts, and by this very scary-looking kind of device that one would sit in and get things like white blood cells extracted, we see briefly this older man and then this tall floating specter right next to him, but we don't have a whole lot of time to consider them before the doors close behind Shadow.
I'm sure it won't be relevant at any point in the future. So Shadow is like pretty much rubbing his arm where the little bandage was, where he clearly had blood drawn or had an IV stuck in or something. But he walks over and finds Maria sitting at a desk, and she's a little slumped over and looks tired. And Shadow had looked a little irritated, but as he sees Maria, he kind of resets his expression and walks over to her and gently touches her on the shoulder and says, "Maria, are you well? Are you in pain?"
"Oh, hi, Shadow." She wakes up and starts checking over her various notes and stuff. She has a nicer, she's older now, wearing a different blue dress and white smock, still wearing goggles. "Did you need anything?"
"No, the doctor finished my tests and I wanted to see how you were doing."
"Oh, I'm all right. I guess just a little tired."
"Is it related to your condition?"
"You know I don't like to talk about that too much."
Shadow nods soberly, and then he says,
"People don't always like to talk about things like that, Shadow."
"Understood. Should we discuss something else? Yes or no?"
Yes.
"My combat tests are progressing well."
How does that make you feel?"
He blinks. "I destroyed 30 robots."
That is a lot of robots.
"Yes, I am built to destroy. And help you, of course."
You didn't really say how that makes you feel.
"What is feel?"
Well, when I'm with you, I feel happy. You're my favorite person. And when...
"I am the ultimate person."
Yeah, you are. And when you talk about being the ultimate or the coolest, you smile. So I think that makes you happy.
Happy as Maria.
Oh, Shadow. Yeah, happy Shadow. Yeah.
Do you need any more of my blood cells?
No,
I make new ones all the time.
I don't need your blood cells. I just, you know what I need?
Platelets, then. Bone marrow?
No, I could just use some time with you. Let's go for a walk.
I will slow down and go for a walk with you.
All right.
Let me put my skates on.
So we're gonna cut away to the next scene, which is gonna be a flash forward, but now it's gonna be at the same time frame. We're gonna move forward. We are now in a We are now in a kind of internal garden. It is very fake. You know, a lot of the foliage is I wouldn't say plastic, but there's something manufactured about it, kind of like almost the grass on a football field. But there is actual like flowers and stuff. You know what it looks like? It looks like the flowers in Sonic CD, the ones that are just a little bit too unnatural, and those like cutscenes just a little too perfect. We have weird foliage moving around. We have these creatures made out of this bluish, almost like plasma, moving from place to place. There are big orbs. There are little ones that are like kind of just stick up and squiggle around almost like trees without branches. There's some people there. We see some families. We see a small child with heterochromia walking, running around and playing. And then we do see as they pass by, as Shadow, Maria, and Maria pass them by, we do see a few soldiers with a large G patch that kind of give them a weird glance as they pass by, but don't think much of
it. So as we pass the soldiers, Shadow makes sure he is between Maria and the soldiers at all time. And then when they are a safe distance away, he looks up at Maria, concerned, who is looking visibly fatigued right now.
When Maria notices that like Shadow's doing that calculation, she immediately like looks over at the child, and waves at the child, who has been like looking curiously over at Shadow because Shadow's pretty cool looking. And she like does a little wave and then elbows him, and she's like, we should do the 43 maneuver.
Shadow immediately turns and finds there's like a long staircase and banister with a rail on it. And he disappears in the blink of an eye, appears at the top of the staircase, and starts grinding down it with his soap TM shoes, and produces 2 flower bouquets from his hands, spins around in front of Maria, and says, "It's the ultimate trick! Ta-da!"
Maria starts laughing and clapping, and takes the bouquets and gives one to the child and one to the child's parent.
And the child is real pleased. Child gives you know the child. The child gives Maria a small hug. He's just excited.
Yeah.
He's a little baby.
Yeah, he's a little baby. He's like hugs Maria, but is like looking at Shadow the whole time, like clearly too nervous to go up to Shadow. But they're very, very happy. This whole thing made Maria really happy, as she like tiredly goes up to Shadow and then just kind of like leans on him as they continue perambulating around the garden.
And as you go to play, go ahead.
Other hedgehogs would like wink or smile at the child, but this isn't really Shadow's bag. Shadow just turns around and regards the child for a little while before immediately turning his attention back to Maria.
And a shadow appears from behind the child. We don't see the specter. The shadowed specter does not seem to make much public appearances, but we do see that older man, who just gruffly says, "Shadow, it is time for more enrichment."
Understood, Doctor. He tenderly lets go of Maria's hand, looks up at her, and waits for her to give him like a nod or a go ahead to indicate that it's okay.
Maria's doing some internal calculations. They're taking a lot from Shadow recently, aren't they? Like too much. And she like holds his hand still, and looks up at her grandfather. Is he replenishing at the accurate, like at a acceptable rate?
And at that, Dr. Gerald Robotnik, who had been looking very stern, just immediately softens, and he's like, oh, I did the old man voice. That was the angry voice I did previously. Oh, Maria, he's perfectly... I wouldn't worry much about, him. He'll be fine. You should worry more about getting proper amounts of rest. And he's already like leaned down and done the adult thing where they get down on one knee and like touch you on the shoulder, trying to be like all sorts of supportive. He isn't paying any attention to you, Shadow.
Shadow rips off a couple of the like bandages, and the blood is dried, and the wounds have already dried as well. He throws them in like a nearby receptacle and turns to Maria and says, "The 3 tests from this morning have all healed, Maria. I am quite well."
Maria nods, and like just turns her head down, which is her sign of reluctant acceptance with her grandfather, and like squeezes Shadow's hand and lets them go. And then as they go, she like stoops down and takes the bandages.
Mm-hmm. And when Shadow goes off with Gerald, his posture is like ramrod straight, almost military, compared to the like sort of relaxed body language he had around Maria.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, and then we are going to flash forward one final time. We look into a hallway. We see a bunch of soldiers kind of talking to themselves. A few of them are running back and forth as if conveying important news. We move past. We can see that the small child is still holding his parents' hand. He's a bit older now, but still very much a child. And he's looking back and forth concerned. And he actually, he's not holding his parents' hand. He's holding one of the gun soldiers' hands. And he looks very concerned as the soldiers move back and forth. And we're going to keep moving back until finally, I'm actually going to say we see Maria. And what does Maria look like as we view her?
Very, very well. I guess like in the exact moment that we see her, she looks determined. And then as soon as a gun soldier comes into focus, she like makes herself look as nervous and confused as possible and like goes to the side to look meek. And then once they're out of shot again, she looks determined. She's going somewhere as furtively as she can.
Okay. Let's think about that. And actually, let's say, where is Maria headed? Or do we want to not say? Do we want to just show?
Yeah, we can just show. So, something is going on in the base, right? That there's like a lot of movement. And Maria's in yet another blue dress.
Much lighter this time. It's gotten progressively lighter as time is
lighter
gone
as
on.
she's aged, and the like white pinafore has gotten more mature with each age jump. Yeah. This one has she's wearing like, she's so formal now that she wears like a white dress under her blue dress, and then yeah. But yeah, something is really going down, and there are like, the way that you know is that scientists are in pockets arguing with soldiers, which isn't usually the vibe up here. And it's like a furtive thing, but the residents on the base are confused and people are having like belongings moved and stuff.
So
and people are being moved on to like cargo transports and stuff.
And so you so you make your
way
forward, and you see a scientist arguing with a gun soldier. And it's just quiet things, but you get the idea that they're very agitated, like, unethical. What do you mean unethical? What's going on? Tell me what's going on. I need to see my family. Angry stuff like that. And he's getting up in the gun soldier's face and almost on the verge of like escalation, but like just shoving a little bit. And you make your way past them and you round the corner, and that's when you hear the first gunshot.
Whoa. That's thing that Maria's she's heard it before, but only on watching videos of Shadow's like training exercises. She's never actually encountered this live. It's terrifying. She's like crouches and starts running. She's like near hyperventilating. She running and the camera's like shaky, like where shaky cam is, or with her, and we get to a part of the ship that is or the colony that is like really, that still nobody's really at right now. We pass like a lizard and other stuff that's down here.
You hear more and more escalations of violence, but they're getting quieter as you get further away. It's more and less at the same time.
Yeah. Maria starts having to enter codes to get into progressively more sci-fi locks, right? So like they start out pretty obvious. There's like her grandfather's birthday, her birthday, just like basic good locking procedures, like complicated codes, right? And then stuff that's complicated, like an eyeball scan, that she's lucky that her retinas line up well enough to her grandfather's, and she's used this to her advantage a number of times and stuff like that. And then the final one is something that she hasn't had to use before, but she was pretty sure that this would work out. She's like made a serum out of like the blood that she got from Shadow's cloth that she had stolen
years ago.
Yeah. Well, no, this was fairly recent, but a while ago, right? Like that she's been doing experiments on this stuff. And it opens to like a roundabout area that has a bunch of windows, a bunch of scientific equipment, and what else? Because Shadow, they keep you in here a lot.
Yeah, so Shadow actually, for his part, as soon as he heard the gunshots, he would have rushed or teleported or done whatever he could to get to where he can't teleport yet, to get to where Maria was. But currently, Shadow is in his restraints, so he's like tied to a bed, and whenever Shadow is in this rig, it's like some pretty heavy, serious tests, because he's got like his normal set of power ring restraints on, but he's also got a lot more restraints on him right now, so he can like barely move, and he's like panting and shaking a little bit because as soon as he heard the guns, he wanted to get to where you were, but the only thing he successfully managed to do at this point is rip the bed from the wall, but he's still like stuck to it.
Yeah, and the only detail I want to add is that normally when in this room, this is where work is done, procedures, there is usually, without fail, both your grandfather and the Spectre are without fail both here. Neither can be found. The room is empty.
Mm-hmm. Maria!
Shadow!
You're safe!
Yes. Okay. I guess it's actually good that you're restrained. And she goes and starts like trying to scoot your bed over to a different part of the room.
Maria?
Yes?
What are you doing, Maria?
I am.
Let me out of here so that I can assist you.
I'm trying to get you out of here.
My purpose is to assist you, Maria.
No, it isn't.
Maria, I am the ultimate life form. If you free me, I can save us. I can get us out of here.
I'm trying to get you out of here.
Maria, I put the messages into Omachow and wiped Omachow's memory like you told me to, and sent him to Angel Island. Let me out of this bed so that I can assist you.
I'm going to try. It would actually be great if you go to Angel Island and then you can be with Omachow. That would be wonderful. Okay. And then you're actually kind of heavy. Hold on.
My muscle mass has increased 15% since the last test.
And to make it clear, I'm going to say we can see an above shot view. We're seeing this octagonal room with, again, the window on one side. And we see the bed is slowly made it. It's only made it a few feet, but that's all it needs to make it into this large, well, not too large, maybe like 3 feet in diameter. It's a small bed, like circular platform in the center.
Maria, if you remove my power rings, I can perform the Chaos Blast or Chaos Spear attacks.
Shadow. Okay, there you go.
Maria,
Right.
please remove my inhibitors.
You start to hear some
No.
banging on the walls.
You need your inhibitors to keep you safe. Okay, there. We don't have much time.
Maria, without my inhibitors, my body can perform at 200% peak efficiency for up to 5 minutes.
You can't sustain that much power for that long, Shadow. Please never take those off. Okay. Shadow, this is important. Your purpose isn't to protect me. You don't exist for anyone but yourself, okay?
Maria is happiness. Maria!
Maria, Shadow is happiness. If you have a purpose, it's to bring happiness to the world, okay? And she's like very tired and like limping slowly across to the room where Shadow knows all of the banks for this power station are.
Yeah, there's this platform with a kind of, it almost looks like a monitor on top, but if it's not displaying anything, you can stick your hand through it. And as Maria makes her way there, we can see behind it, we can see the doors are starting to get pried open. They're starting to creak, and there are sparks going through as if someone's like taking a torch to it.
Shadow, it's not fair that you were made to serve me or try to keep me alive. That's not how people are made. But you're really wonderful. You're the ultimate best boy. And you make me really happy. You make everyone else on this base really happy. And I think a lot of people have trouble remembering what's good in the world and why it's worth being alive. I know I do because I'm hurt all the time, but you make me happy. So I think you could make everyone else happy. So promise me that you'll never stop trying to make the world better and make people happy, because I know you can do it. You're the best at it. You're the ultimate happy boy. Okay?
Shadow looks over at Maria with his tears-filled with eyes, and he gives her a slight nod and shuts his eyes tightly.
Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog. And she hits the eject button.
And with that, a lot of things happen at once. Suddenly, the platform around Shadow rises up, and it's glass all around you. It's as if you're put inside of a capsule. Across the way, the door breaks open, and a bunch of gun soldiers break through. One of them turns over. They actually start trying to get to your pod, but as they do, your attention is only, well, our focus collectively is only on one. It's on a single soldier who looks at the chaos and then looks at Maria, and without doing anything, without hesitating, raises a hand with a single pistol in it. And with a bang, the capsule launches its way towards Earth.
But she's fine.
We we see that platform 50 years later, the same space. We see this octagonal space. We see the wall, the window on the wall. We see that spot on the earth where that capsule had been moments prior. And as we move back, we see this same age physically, much older looking mentally, gruff hedgehog who now has these red frosted tips glaring down at the planet and just growling to himself. And then we see a hand from off screen tap him on the shoulder and says, "Oh, hey there, Ulti! You ready for the big confrontation?" And Shadow just turns and shoots daggers at Dr. Eggman, who is in this egg walker, and just says, "I told you never to call me that again." And Eggman just goes, of course, Shadow, the ultimate life form. Are you ready for the big moment? And Shadow just turns back. "Yes, the moment I've waited long before, a chance to get revenge for Maria, which is absolutely what she would have wanted." And Eggman's like, yes, and also, making Eggman Land, making some real estate for my amusement park, Eggman Land, because that's the only way to do this, right? And Shadow just turns to himself, and without saying anything, he starts walking out of the room and through a door on the side, and Eggman turns to him and is like, Shadow, what are you doing? And Shadow, without saying anything, just says without turning his head, just says, "You'll be fine, Doctor." And with that, he walks through, or not. It doesn't really matter to me. And he walks through these doors which swish open and swish shut. And there's a few seconds of uncomfortably long silence for Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik as he contemplates what got him to this place. And then with that, another set of doors swish open, and what do we see?
It's just a blue blur that's like running around the room, spinning, and creating a little tornado shape that resolves itself into a heroic hedgehog pose. He's doing left stretches, he's doing right stretches, and he says, "Yoke's on you, Eggman. You should have tried harder to kill me. What'd I miss?"
And without even thinking, he just Eggman briefly lets out, "Oh, thank goodness, Sonic, it's you."
Nice to see you too.
All
right, so what are we looking at here? You wanna monologue for a while? Just take me through what your plan was. You could do some gloating if you want. It's been a while since we did this.
You know what? That would be nice. Oh, Sonic, you have gone to my secret. Wait a second, I don't have to do that. And suddenly, like in the actual game, he just pulls out a freaking pistol and points it at you.
Sonic looks like he does a Bugs Bunny. He looks at the pistol. He looks at the camera. He kind of crinkles his eyes like this, takes his hand and pushes the pistol slightly, and says, "Sorry, Doc, it's not hedgehog season. Now, why don't you tell me why you want to blow up the planet where we live?"
I don't see the issue of blowing up a bit and part of the planet. Who cares about Station Square or Westopolis? Oh, Westopolis, that place is gonna go in 2 years' time anyways. All I want to do is carve a bit of the earth to make my own. And if saving that, I can at least make some money from the United Federation.
Doc, if you blow up the United Federation, who's gonna pay you?
I will have you know that I have taken out insurance plans on many major metropolitan areas.
Okay, Eggface. I was willing to cut you some slack because it's been a little while, but you've just told me two of the most evil things a person could possibly do: real estate and insurance. And I'm not going to stand for it. By the way, that should be enough time. And he turns around and waits for Tails and Amy to finally catch up to him.
So yeah, what does Eggman see? All we see is actually underneath his goggles, which are also placed on his head. So we see his eyes. We see them just widen in terror as the you know how someone involuntarily steps back? Somehow the Eggmobile does that, like involuntarily takes a few steps back towards the power thing that Maria had touched earlier, just towards the wall right by there. Because you and him were about in the center of the room, Sonic. And so what does
Amy is like in the doorway, catching her breath a little bit because they were hurrying so that Sonic didn't have to do this for that long. Like, and then she.
Yeah. I mean, he's already in his Genesis "I'm waiting" pose.
Yeah, his like
in the seconds. Yeah.
She really wanted to avoid that.
Tap.
That is the face she didn't want to see. She is seeing it now, so she's like, and then she whips out her hammer and does like the thing where you like use your melee weapon to hit your hand. Yeah. And she's doing that with her.
You should have paid the boss kind of pose.
Yeah, exactly. With her hammer. And she's like, nice to see you again. Your museum did not live up to expectations.
And Eggman doesn't say anything because he's terrified, but he makes a note to dock Orbot and Cubot's pay. And his eyes turn as he also turns over, and then if it's all right if I can see, he sees not Tails and the Cyclone, because the tornado has been destroyed. Unless what does he see?
Oh, that's no.
We rebuilt it.
They rebuilt it.
No, we rebuilt it. Sonic helped you rebuild it. Yeah,
but
it's now powered by the fake Chaos Emerald. Sonic has the
that's the question. Can the fake Chaos Emerald power it? Because the fake Chaos Emerald does have a power signature that is much weaker than, but identical to the actual Chaos Emeralds. It's just programmed to. I mean,
I would say that
I played the game. It's programmed to destroy this machine. So that's the deal with the fake Chaos Emerald.
What it does, because the way they explain it is like, oh, it's a reverse wavelength or something like that. I'm just gonna say that it's finicky. It's kind of you just roll the dice. Like literally, if it gets used, I will roll a dice to see what happens.
So it is in the tornado. But actually, Tails isn't piloting it. Here's what he's done. He has 2 Babylonian gravity rings attached to the ankles of the tornado. So it is hovering slightly. And then he himself is like on top of it and tailsing to push the whole contraption forward. And that is how he's been going through the base.
You're moving it as if it's like a blimp at the Macy's New Year Thanksgiving parade.
Yeah. Which is why he shows up after Amy. He's very slow at the moment.
Tails, do we have an intimidation roll? Let me see if we have intimidation here as one of our
So it's definitely not called that, but we do have one.
Yeah.
It is
is it coercion?
Yes.
I want you to roll coercion, but with 2 boost die. And you only have 2 boost die and then 2 purple die.
Okay.
Because even if Tails is not intending to be threatening, I need to see if he is.
Yeah.
I mean, Eggman is afraid of him.
Eggman is very afraid of him. And so I can't tell if seeing this device would make him less afraid, like, look how silly that is, or if it would be more afraid, like, this makes no sense. Clearly it is some horrendous, like, terrifying device.
What did you say the difficulty was?
It's 2. Eggman is very easily startled.
Okay, let's roll. I got 3 successes and a threat.
All right. So you do scare him.
Oh.
You do. It succeeds. So he is scared, but it's gonna end up being bad for you, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But he's like, and he starts moving further and further back, like afraid.
That's right. Yeah.
Sonic is like doubled over with laughter right now. He can barely contain himself. You're in trouble now, Eggface. Looks like you're about to get scrambled.
You could avoid that if you just tell us how to stop it, though.
You're right. I could avoid that by doing that. Or I could avoid it by scrambling you! And this is the threat, Tails. Because Eggman is more afraid of you, and by proxy, less afraid of Sonic. And with that, he slams a button on the platform next to him. And Sonic, you have been in the center of this room. So in the same platform that Shadow was in, you see the glass raise up to the sides and make this capsule. Although we can see on the outside, unlike Shadow's, it is planted with a bunch of just TNT on the sides.
Ugh, not this again. How many times per day is a guy gonna get blown up?
Sonic, no!
It'll be fine, Tails. I can just... Tink, 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 tink. Okay.
And I rev up a little bit, and I crash against the glass in the tube. What happens?
It's, you know, the like in like Carnival, the like casino zones where they have those bumpers that Sonic bounces off of.
I'm familiar with casino zones.
It's like
yes.
that. It's like one of the bumpers.
Tink, 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 tink.
And Eggman says, "Oh, this is your last mistake, Sonic. You see, I didn't build this base. My genius grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, built this base to contain the ultimate life form, something far more powerful than you and your..." And he wants to let out the word measly, but he just goes, "friends could ever hope to achieve. I have failed to defeat you or turn you to my side multiple times, but the genius of my grandfather cannot be overstated."
Wait, hold up. You tried to turn me to your side? When did that happen?
And we just see in Tails' mailbox, we just see a lone invitation for Eggman's Chuck E. Cheese birthday party.
In Tails' mailbox. Like, he just knew
Sonic doesn't stay in one place at a time.
No.
Sonic. We also see Sonic walking by and seeing like this overstuffed mailbox filled with letters, and he says, "That invitation doesn't mean anything to me because I can't read." And he dashes off. And then he says,
Joke's on you, Eggface. I plan on making a lot more mistakes.
and then he like tries for a tornado, like making a cyclone. And the only thing that happens with this is that he's sucking up a lot of the oxygen that he would have used. So he puts one hand against the tube and he's breathing kind of heavily. And he says,
Hey, Tails, got any ideas?
Yeah, how can you go down?
he looks down. He revs up. He jumps up in the air, and then he does that attack where you slam into the ground. And it makes like a noise. But there's no movement on the ground. Then he looks up and he says,
Where's Knucklehead when you need him?
No good.
No good, Tails.
Can I just try to hammer it?
You can try to hammer it.
We don't need Knuckles. I just
and
try
you
to
hit
hammer
it,
it.
and you bounce back. This is space glass, baby. Like there's no even rolling against it. This is space glass. You would need to be like a giant lizard to even think of cracking it. For a purely hypothetical example.
Okay.
And Eggman pipes in. He says, "What about this? How about..." Instead of, you said you wanted a long monologue, didn't you, my good rodent-like friend?
Eggman, look, you're a scientist. You've got to stop calling me a rodent. It's just embarrassing for you.
You know what? I've given up on the speech. I've figured out I can condense it to 4 words.
Oh
And
no!
he looks at you and he says, "Sayonara, Sonic the Hedgehog." And he presses the button. And the capsule flies out into space. And it flies further and further and further.
So Sonic is on his communicator, and he says, "This is Sonic. Tails, do you read me?"
Yes? Sonic, are you okay?
Tails, I'm in a bit of a situation, and I need you to do something for me.
What?
I need you to stop the cannon, and I need you to get Amy out of there. If I don't make it back, well,
Well, you will.
of course I'll make it back. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
And after about, let's say 5 seconds of crackle, we see an explosion from the side of the mirror, and the capsule is gone.
And then Tails looks really sad and then determined. He's like, Sonic has never asked me to do anything before. And then there's a quick flashback to the many things Sonic has asked Tails to do.
It's like, hey Tails, can you get me some onions? Hey Tails, can you hold this? Hey Tails, can you read me this story?
Yeah.
Hey Tails, can you tell me if Amy's coming?
Sonic has never asked me to do anything before. So I have to do this for him. He gets really determined.
Meanwhile, Eggman is looking there, and there's a moment of silence, and then he's just like, I did it. I got myself back! And with a newfound confidence, the walker walks over to the pistol. He picks it up, points it to you, and says, "Let's go, Fox Boy!" And I need everyone to roll initiative.
What about me?
Sonic, you do not roll initiative. Sonic is, for all intents and purposes,
he's
dead.
super dead. He's super dead.
He's dead. That's it.
That's it. And let's take a look at the time. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this Eggman fight. Because
Cool.
he's confident, but I'm not confident in him. So I don't know how long this will last.
Oh, it's not. Amy's pretty mad, so it's not gonna last long.
Let me think. It's an agility roll. All right, perfect.
Yeah, Amy's really mad because she had just convinced Sonic that he could look good with frosted tips.
Yeah,
and he was open to the idea. And after all that time she spent on him, now he just exploded in a capsule.
what is she supposed to do for her next Instagram story now? Come on.
Yeah.
He would look so
I
cool.
heard Tails might work
know.
with a nose ring. That's what I've heard. Anyways, I've rolled. Eggman is up to 2 successes.
It's just a flat agility roll, or is there? I
it
can't find the
is-
specific
it
initiative.
is-
So I.
Oh no!
It's up at the
sorry.
top.
It is. If you're prepared, it's
Yeah.
cool. So I actually have to re-roll.
Oh, okay.
Wait, does Eggman have? No, I don't have to re-roll because Eggman has no cool.
So it's vigilance for the rest of you because none of you were prepared for this
Yeah.
to start, right?
Okay.
Well, I would say Tails. It's cool. Amy, it's
Yeah.
probably vigilance because Amy was just kind of
Yeah.
there.
I mean, Amy had her hammer out though.
That's true.
Like she had just swung the thing,
That's
true.
and
All right, it's cool for everyone.
she's reacting. Is just
It's cool
quiet.
for everyone, which absolutely is not in Eggman's favor.
I have 3 successes and 1 advantage.
Absolutely not in Eggman's favor. That was the only person he had a hope to succeed.
But one of those, so I'm on 2 greens and 1 yellow. Okay. 1 success, 2 advantages.
Okay, never mind. So the order is going to be Fox Boy, then Egghead, then Amy. I couldn't think of a good nickname for Amy off the top of my head.
Sweet girl.
Sweet girl, sweet child.
She
Yeah.
is. Sweet hammer girl.
Maria substitute in the final story. I don't know what to call her. All right. Tails, you are up. You have a very angry, a very confident egg in a giant walker with a pistol because he has one that's in the game.
It's true. Yeah, so Tails drops from the top of his tornado into the pilot seat, and does a what is my move here? It is called a well, you gave it a he uses his oh, come on, stop scrolling.
Oh, there's Crow the cat. Hi, Crow the cat.
I'm going to well, I'm engaged, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can get to close enough distance regardless. You can get to engage, you can get to short. It's a pretty big arena. And by big, I mean, it's just big enough that you can walk to the wall and shoot him if you would like, or walk up to him and punch him without any issue.
Well, I think it would actually benefit Amy if I cleared so she could get engaged and smack with hammer.
That's a good
So
point.
yeah, so I'll clear out to short range and use my Vulcan cannon.
Perfect.
So so Eggman goes, "Let's go, Fox Boy!" And Tails is just like very down to business and determined. He jumps down into the pilot seat, does one scoot back move, and then just does a big fire. He just fires a missile directly.
You have a handgun. I have a cannon.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a gunnery roll, but with intellect. So you got a lot of points with it. Because you were using the Fake Chaos Emerald, one of your dice, your difficulty dice, upgrades from a purple to a red. Mostly because a red allows for catastrophic failure, which is the kind of thing I'm looking for. That being said, it's easy to hit them, so you only have to roll against one red dice. And if I remember correctly, looking at your character sheet, because I just made the most broken characters in existence, because Genesis and custom content without ever... Anyways, the point being is that you...
It's 5-1.
Yeah, it's 5-1.
I think. Yeah.
5 purple to 1 red.
Yep. Let's do it. So that's 3 successes and 2 advantages.
Okay. So, let's see what the cannon does. The cannon does 8
damage.
Because I hate myself. And let me take a look at Eggman's. All right, so that's 8 plus 3.
And breach 2, and I got the 2.
Okay, so
Wow.
that's we're just gonna say that's 15. That's 11.
No wonder Eggman is so much more terrified of Tails.
You know what?
Let's go, Fox Boy! Boom.
I don't want him to go down in one hit, so I'm just gonna say
it's okay. Yeah.
There's a number of times Eggman needs to be hit to go down now. And we've gone past one of those times. I'm just going to go with that.
He has lives. It's fine.
Why do I fight these bosses? I fight these bosses and hit them like 8 times. Tails could just blow them away.
So, do you want to describe, along with the advantage, you can get rings or whatever you want, the advantage of how does this shot ring out?
This shot rings out with Tails's like. Okay, this shot rings out with Tails's certainty that his plan is going to succeed. It has like an air of almost smugness to it. That he thinks he's a little worried that Sonic might be hurt, but he thinks he usually gets out of scrapes. So Sonic's probably fine. But Tails is like, okay, the Chaos Emerald just went away. Eggman's going to realize that this is being powered by a Chaos Emerald. He'll think that's real. This is going to work. Our plan is going to work. I am a very smug little fox. And the power of smugness interacted with Eggman's inherent field of smugness and pushed him back extra.
So Eggman knocks back extra, and we see a microscopic little crack as he hits the back of the glass. That's how powerful this shot was. And Eggman is just like, he's real upset. He would be shaking all his hair around, but I don't think he has any. I can't remember.
He's bald.
Okay, he is. He is an egg, after all. And this egg is...
I call him Baldy McNosehair all the time.
And this egg is... I can't think of a good term. Because all I can think of is poached, but that would mean that he's in bad trouble.
In water. Yeah.
He's a bit scrambled, but he ain't gonna let this go over easy. So, he is
You came back.
actually going to be like, so be it! And he's gonna take the pistol, because I've got to use it, and he was gonna shoot missiles, but instead he takes the pistol, which connects to his, to the Eggmobile, and just, like, separates, and little individual pieces go into each of the rockets. And then the arms of the side of the Eggmobile turn out, and now it's 5 pistols. And he's gonna shoot all of them at you.
That's scary.
And let me figure out. So I'm gonna give the pistol the same damage as the missiles. But I'm gonna say that I have to do. I'm gonna give him actually no, I'm gonna say it does twice the damage, but he has to roll a black die. So this is gonna be short range. It is gunnery. Gunnery for him is also intellectual. So let me just throw some dice in here, super quick.
Classic Eggman.
We're gonna do just a roll here, and he doesn't do anything.
Oh.
They all stall at once.
I've played.
Someone's got egg on their face.
So I've played a lot of Persona 5 Royal lately, and one of the things in that game is that you can get pistols that are less useful, less powerful, but they do status effects. So that's what's going to happen here. So he got 3 advantages.
Oh, cool.
But he didn't get any successes. So I'm going to say the bullets just hit the side of like your thing, but they just start bouncing off. Maybe they even reflect from some of like the Babylonian architecture a bit.
Yeah.
And he is... he can disable a piece of gear that's not a weapon.
Oh.
That's not good.
He hits the front of the tornado. It pops off, and the fake Chaos Emerald falls to the ground.
Oh no, the Chaos Emerald!
Oh, the Chaos Emerald! It's here! I thought surely you would have given it with Sonic. Thanks for giving up the game, Fox Boy.
No!
I like the Tails doing the Home Alone face. I need to edit that now. Home Alone, but just with Tails in his face. All right, Amy, it's your turn.
All right. Amy, when Sonic got shot into the void, her reaction was one of those instinctual, like, hand to mouth things. And she was kind of shell-shocked for a moment, but luckily there was a fiery explosion in the room in her vicinity, so that shook her out of it a little bit. And now she's pretty mad because aside from the whole Instagram story that Sonic was gonna do the thing that she wanted, Sonic's also her friend and her very secret crush. So she is going to just clobber Eggman.
Oh god,
Nobody ruins her
it's so
chances with
tragic.
Sonic except for her.
Yeah.
All right, give me a roll.
To be fair, Sonic may not know Amy has a crush.
That's actually a good point.
Now
That's like
he'll
a really
never
good
know.
The worst
point.
part is, I thought about it. Even Eggman knows. Even he knows about the crush.
Yeah, like this.
So, yeah, it's a difficulty to... You're hitting him. Give me a roll to hit. Give me...
All right, and that's purple, right?
Yeah, it's 2
Difficulty?
purple.
All right.
You don't have any difficulties. He's in a big mech. Like, honestly, I'd be disappointed if Amy didn't hit him.
Yeah, I will be too. All right, so it's melee heavy. So I've got 4 bronze, so 2 of those would translate up to a yellow because of the rank, right? So that's 2 green, 2 yellow, and 2 purple.
All right.
I got 2 successes.
Okay. And you hit him with his hammer, which I just need to check and make sure this does above his armor. It absolutely does above his armor.
I was gonna
Holy
say,
crap.
there's no way it doesn't. Pico
So
hammer.
that's going to be the second out of 3 hits on Eggman. Describe how this hit works.
So Amy had reverberated back from the space glass moments prior, and let's say that her arm was still kind of like vibrating a little bit. So all of that force also goes into her righteous anger force when she just whacks him. And this time she was doing a show back on Prison Island where she like did it with one hand. She's not messing around this time. It's two-handed. So she just classic hammer swing.
I'm scared on behalf of Eggman. I'm gonna be honest right now. Yeah, okay.
And she lets out like a go like ah! She does
Eggman,
it.
I'm going.
It's like a mixture of grief and anger and effort and all that.
I'm gonna say the legs actually pop off of the Eggmobile, and he flies back, and now he's just in that like floating little orb version. And he's gonna book it. Tails.
Oh no, we're not gonna let him.
Tails, it is your turn.
The time has passed for that.
It's popcorn. So can I pop it back to Amy? Cool. So I'm gonna go,
Amy, oh no! He's escaping with the Chaos Emerald! Make sure you don't hit him back towards the console! Good luck, Amy.
Amy will attempt to hit him back towards the console while saying like, oh no, my hand slipped in this direction.
Yeah, give me a roll to do that. I'm going to increase the difficulty by 1. So what I'm going to do is instead of rolling 2, you're going to roll 1 purple and 1 red.
Okay, could I attempt to do something fancy here? I don't know if this will add a die, but I have my hammer of holding, right? So to aid in the way that I want, it's floating, isn't it? I was going to summon a banana peel to help him slip towards the console, but that doesn't really work because he's floating.
Yeah. Also, just a note from chat while you're...
Well, what if you hit him down? What if you hit him down and then have your hammer have a bunch of like oil or slick stuff come out of it, and then he slides onto the console?
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of oil spurred out as I hit him so that it provides a nice, swift, slick pathway exactly where I want him to go.
All right.
Don't want him
Sounds
to go.
Good. Yeah, give me a roll. I'm going to up the difficulty by 1, and I'm going to do 1 because you're just so buff. I'm going to do a purple, a red, and then a you know what? I like it so much. Let's add a blue and a black. Let's add like variability on both sides. While you put those in, I want to put in a comment from chat, which is just they're about to Humpty Dumpty this man.
Yeah, it's going to be rough.
Nobody's
going to be able to put him back together.
Thank you, Emily.
So that is my normal brawn roll, or my normal heavy plus 1 purple, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 black.
Just so much variability is happening here.
I have 3 successes and 1 threat.
Okay. Trying to think about what to do for a good threat. Because there's no like, oh man, you get a disadvantage next round, because there is no next round.
Eggman's just not a threat.
We're gonna give a threat. But it's gonna be for Sonic.
Oh, Sonic.
Oh, sorry.
Well, Sonic, who is dead.
Sorry,
but
don't die, Sonic.
So describe how you hit him into the console.
So after Tails yells his bit, Amy will do a really quick glance that way to figure out if it's the right area that she wants him towards. And then she was all business last time, and now she's kind of going back to the like one-handed, only to make it look like she's maybe not trying and like she actually slipped. But JK, Amy's ambidextrous. I have just decided this. So when she does it with her left hand, she's like, oh no, I slipped and he's going that way. And then it just like bang, and he aims perfectly as if she was trying towards the console. And it just whacks into it.
So Eggman flies. He hits the air. He just starts ping-ponging around the space until he eventually slides on some grease, hits the console. We see it spark for a second, and we see Shadow's face appear and then disappear.
Disappear.
And then suddenly the Eggmobile just pops open and Eggman tumbles out, like just flying out of it, and falls headfirst onto the platform in the center.
He's got like cartoon birds flying around his head.
And as he falls down there, and do you want him to have the emerald by him or not?
Yeah.
All right, as he falls in that case, this is your threat. As he falls onto the platform, just like on his butt, we see the console spark to life, and the glass rises up around him.
Oh no!
It's not full of TNT, but I have very bad vertigo.
Oh no, his back is bothering him.
Yeah, so what are you gonna do? You have Eggman in this console, in this like pill thing, and it's like,
And he
ready to launch.
I would like to raise my hand.
Yeah.
What you have is egg under glass.
Great. I look at Shoulder Sonic.
Great contribution.
That's it.
No problem, Tails. I'm super dead.
Please don't say that, Shoulder Sonic. Please be okay. Okay. Yeah, really, that's a bad thing to be in my subconscious.
Launch 20, 19, 18. And Eggman's like, please, you have to help me out. Friends, I'll just blow up. What's your least favorite city? I'll just go for that one. What about Angel Island? That's a population of 1.
Can you breathe in space? All of us can.
Eggman. Let me just do a check super quickly. Eggman space. You know what? I've never seen it. I just realized in the Sonic Unleashed opening cutscene, which was my reference point, the capsule undoes the glass after he's inside of a ship. So,
okay.
No, absolutely not.
Tails is looking a little dark at the moment.
Amy's also she's mulling this over. This isn't like an immediate.
This isn't an immediate thing. Yeah, we might
No.
need a little Sonic help here if Sonic isn't going to be a villain. Shoulder Sonic, you want to get in here?
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. I was busy being super dead. What did you need? Oh, look, Tails, you're not going to let him shoot into space and die, are you? No offense, that's an Eggman move.
He's really bad, though, and if we let him do this thing, which he did, it's like a Disney death.
Tails,
Yeah.
off-panel deaths are still deaths. Besides, you don't want to kill my nemesis off-panel, do you?
Oh, you'd be super sad at me.
Yeah. I mean, do what you want, I'm super dead, but...
Oh gosh, you're not super dead. Hold on, I'll go fix it.
He goes to the computer console and dejectedly shuts down the thing.
And it slides down, and Eggman, who's just on his hands and knees with the emerald, is sitting there, looks back at you, looks forward, and then just stands up and does the like super long sprinty run that he does at the speed of Sonic, at least Genesis Sonic, as he just runs out of the room. Just
Amy just sighs. Do we need to go after him?
I don't know. I mean, probably.
He's got to know how to stop all this, right?
Well, he said that his grandfather built this. Yeah, we should probably keep him around. Yep.
Okay. And Amy trudges off to go chase down Eggman.
Yeah. Did he take
He did
the,
take the
emerald?
He
We need
he
the
did
emerald
take
back
it, and he's-
anyway.
Well, you have the
so-
fake one, right? So-
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Yeah,
fake one. Yeah.
So do you want him to slam it in, or do you not know how it works?
Yeah, I want him
Oh
to
no,
slam
me
it
too.
in.
I forgot.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
no,
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm gonna say you follow after him anyway, but I just asked that because I probably will cut this chase because it's just a sad
that's-
chase.
It's like Amy didn't hurry because she knows she can do it with little to no effort.
All right, so I think now is going to be a good time for our break. We're about we're about halfway through, so we're going to take a 10-minute break or so. We're going to come back. We're going to finish the Knuckles and Rouge segment, and then we're going to finally have our confrontation between the coolest head.
I want my next character to be Manic the Hedgehog.
Absolutely. You didn't ask to be Sonia, so I might give it a pass. So we'll come back for the grand
Sonia. Why did you
finale
remind
between
me
Manic the Hedgehog and Shadow the Hedgehog.
Just
Great.
comes out with his drumsticks. Like, I would watch that. Is the worst part of this. I would be legitimately psyched, and I would hate myself for
Right.
it. Like,
The coolest hedgehog, Manic, versus Shadow.
We'll
yeah.
see y'all in
And
10
his
minutes.
6 drums, like.
We're in space. We've been in space this whole time, but we're in a different part of space. The Space Colony arc is just a part of the horizon. Like a random Superman statue you would see in a small town of Metropolis, Illinois. It exists. I've been there. Or the world's biggest ball of yarn, except again, this is a death laser that's gonna, cause a lot of destruction if it isn't stopped. But the two people in the capsules don't care about that. We see 2 escape pods flying out. In one of them, we see an angry red echidna, and in another one, we see a bat who is just done with everything. And we're going to flash back, and we're going to see how we got to this point. I'm going to flash back, and I'm going to say we are in a space shuttle which is just launched out into space. And it is carrying on board, at the very least, depending on how you phrase it, it's carrying at least 3 passengers. It's carrying Knuckles the Echidna, Rouge the Bat, and Omachow, the robotic machine that apparently bears dark secret knowledge that I need to note that down for future reference.
Yes, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. He's just R2-D2 now. I can work with that.
I figured, yeah.
All right.
Omachow has his face pressed against the glass, looking at the vast majesty of space. And he goes, "Oh, this is pretty cool."
Knuckles is clearly trying not to hurl, so he's not looking at the windows. He's not looking at Rouge, and he's not looking at Omachow. He's just curled up as small as he possibly can be, with his fist in front of his face like this.
Rouge is checking analytic reports on the shuttle and doing work.
So how did all 3 of you end up from fighting a ghost onto the shuttle?
That's a really good question.
I'm assuming you didn't go far. They have space shuttles
Yeah.
in, the Babylonian Museum.
Working ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Did we wind up? I don't think we wound up here accidentally. Did you follow me? Is that what you did?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was, I after the fight, we were continuing to do our treasure hunting.
As one does.
As
in the
one
middle of a
does,
museum.
and then, coincidentally, we had both noticed that all of the emeralds in this area were done, and we had gotten all of the things that we needed. And then I've been wearing an earpiece this whole time. I started talking to somebody on it, slunk into a corner. And that was kind of suspicious to Rad Red over here. So he started following me around the museum to see what in the world was going on with that.
Yeah, but I'm trying not to look like I'm following you, right? So
Yeah.
as you walk around through the museum, I'm just sort of not making any attempt to hide, but like just sort of walking, pretending to be very interested in this urn that I pick up. But you know, whatever room you pass through as you're talking on your earpiece, the buff porcupine with the big chest is like behind you.
Meanwhile, the voice on the other end is getting very agitated with you and is like, Agent Rouge, you need to report on the status of the space colony arc now.
Fine. I actually haven't checked up on it in a while.
You haven't done what? It's set to explode in like 4 hours.
Yeah, I'll go there. Fine. I'll go there. Yeah, I'll go there now.
And as you're leaving, Omachel, if this is okay, Hallie, Omachel flies back in with this giant oversized shirt that says this is the museum's get along shirt, and she like pushes it towards Knuckles, who like is absolutely has no intention of wearing this. And then we cut to the rocket where both of us are wearing this.
That was very strong, is the thing, as evidenced previously. He can make you do what he wants.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
Omachao is the true ultimate life form. The only reason he doesn't get it is, as a robot, it's a technicality that he can't be included.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you're in your get-along shirt. Omachao is admiring things. Knuckles is trying not to barf. And Rouge, because you're in your get-along shirt, you can hear it. You can just hear him like, as you're trying to concentrate.
Oh no.
If you knew you had motion sickness, you shouldn't have stowed away.
I wasn't stowing away. Omachao made us put this shirt on.
I got it just for you! He yells from off screen.
He spent so many rings on this.
Yeah. Eggman does have an expensive gift shop.
Well, the museum is free, and this is how, you know.
Are you defending him?
No, I would never defend Eggman. I'm just pointing out that infrastructure costs being what they are. What? I know things.
Oh, Macho, can we please take it off? I don't want to be yacked on.
Knuckles like rips the get along shirt, fashions it into a bag, and puts it over his mouth.
Yeah.
Omachao flies over as you're doing that and goes, "Aw," when he sees that you destroyed the shirt he so kindly bought for the both of you and then wrangled you into.
I've now changed it. We've renamed Hatred Dice Tension Dice. Omachao's Tension Dice are back to being Hatred Dice.
You really ruined your rap with Omachao, and that's hard to do.
Oh no! I had to spend $40 on a t-shirt.
So Rad is breathing heavily into the ripped up t-shirt, but he seems okay now. And he stomps over to the console for the rocket, and he turns to Omachao and he says, "Omachao, if you let me fly, my stomach will calm down."
Are you sure about that? Because I could get the Dramamine that you take sometimes, or was that a secret?
No, Omachao, I, the guardian of the Master Emerald, do not need Dramamine. I live on a floating island.
You kind of seem like you need Dramamine, though.
I assure you, I am fine. And then he looks suspiciously at Rouge, and he says, "Who are you talking to, Batgirl?"
Classified.
That means
Knuckles?
secret.
Thank you. Thank you. So then Knuckles says, "Secret, huh?" And he looks very smug.
Yeah. What?
Why didn't you try to take any of the other jewels in the museum? And Knuckles looks smug.
What do you mean?
Well, you said all the world's jewels belong to you, but you left a whole bunch of jewels back at the museum, and you only took the shards of the Master Emerald.
Right, I'm not allowed to focus one project at a time.
You don't really seem like the kind to pass up jewels when you see them. That's called detective work, Oma Chow.
Thank you, Knuckles. Thank you, Mr. Knuckles.
So you're getting at something. You're trying to weasel information out of me.
Digging is what echidnas do best.
All right. I'll bite. Quid pro quo? That's fine.
He looks nervously at Oma Chow.
Oma Chow has pulled in a chalkboard from out of nowhere, and he's written like classified equals secret, and then detective work equals digging equals echidnas do best, and then under quid pro quo he's written question mark, and he looks at Knuckles and does this, and then looks at Rouge and goes, "Miss Rouge, I like hearing you talk. What does that mean?"
It means that I'll ask Red over here a question, and he'll tell me the answer, and then he can ask whatever he wants.
That sounds like an even distribution of efforts and rewards.
But I asked you first.
Yeah, you did. And I believe I answered. I said that yes, I was focusing on the Master Emerald at the moment.
I definitely didn't just forget that, he says confidently.
And meanwhile,
So,
to give an idea of where we are, the rocket, which, because everyone's so distracted, is not being quite as well manned, is making its way further and further up towards the space colony. Rouge...
Let's be real, though. It would be much worse if Knuckles were flying it.
That's
so
true.
much worse.
So, Rouge, how hard are you
Nobody wants Knuckles
Are you,
to
like, piloting this directly? Do you have, like, coordinates set in?
Oh, so she had been fairly serious about doing that, right? Like she had been, but now that Knuckles is directly engaging with a portion of her mission, she is distracted and just like has her butt on the controls. Yeah.
Good job, Knuckles.
Yeah, she's taken out a data pad that's like black with neon green text, and is like poised to write with the stylus.
Fantastic laptop.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Master Emerald. You're charged with protecting it. I know it's very important to your culture, but what makes it different than other artifacts like this? Why would somebody powerful be interested in it?
Knuckles
Why
looks
does it
left.
get stolen?
Knuckles looks left. Knuckles looks right. He creeps up a little closer to Rouge and says in a stage whisper, "Have you ever heard the story of Pachacamac the Wise?"
She like looks a little creeped out about what's happening, honestly.
It's not a story other archaeologists would tell you. Long ago, my ancestors lived on a floating island. They used the Master Emerald as their power source. The Master Emerald is an incredible source of chaos energy. Energy that it shares with the Chaos Emeralds.
Like the Chaos Emeralds.
But it's more powerful than all of them combined.
Than all 7 of them?
There are 7 known Chaos Emeralds, yes.
Than all possible Chaos Emeralds.
So now you understand why it's so important. Right?
So, well, is it just like the Chaos Emeralds? Do you get what I'm asking? Like,
well, it has properties the other Chaos Emeralds don't. For example, it can change size, and he produces a little emerald shard that gets really, really, really big, and then shrinks fitting into the size of his hand. Of course, this trick only works if you're the pre-appointed guardian of the Master Emerald shards. And he gives her a feral grin.
All right. That seems handy for like setting jewelry and things. But Other than that, I can see how people might use it to power weapons and things like that. But when it's been used in the past in conjunction with other Chaos Emeralds, why?
Well, it's like you said, it's a very powerful fuel source. It's unrivaled in this dimension. And that's why it's important to not fall into Eggman's grubby hands. He's tried to steal it. And he looks at his fists, realizes he can't count on them, and says, "Times."
She frowns but nods. She like gives you a bunch of technical information that's like wavelengths of crystals. And asks you to like indicate which wavelengths the Master Emerald resonates on. Are you able to answer that?
So I'm not able to answer it verbally, but if you give him the pad and you start tuning the frequency, he actually starts vibrating and creates a reverb with the correct frequency for the Master Emerald, just naturally.
Cool. That I think gives her the information. That's great and very cool. So like he does like a little song exercise. For a while they do that.
And he's repeating to himself, the servers are the 7 chaos. Chaos is power enriched by the heart. Blah blah blah. The Tikal's praying. Yeah.
And that eventually gets her it gives her a ton of information. And the thing Kat, was fishing for, which was that it gives her enough information to understand that the real reason her government agency cares about this thing is that it can neutralize the Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like not only contains them, grows big, is more powerful, but it also like wraps back around the other way and neutralizes them. It's very strong.
Absolutely.
So she like is happy. So I fulfilled my end of the bargain, or you fulfilled your end of the bargain. What can I do for you?
Yeah. Squid's on the table. He points at the chalkboard.
Is that an expression, Momocha?
Squid's on the table. Yeah, I'd say so.
All right.
Knuckles nods wisely. Squid, go pro. You have to tell me who you were talking to on that earpiece and why you're so interested in my emerald.
Yeah. Well, it would be a bad idea for me to tell you a name or anything, but my superior.
And that's when.
What are you implying? I know lots of people.
My superior in a shady government organization.
Okay. He shrugs.
Yeah, I'm a special agent.
So you're like a cop?
No. More like a spy.
That sounds really exciting, Miss Rouge.
I would say it's not.
Oh,
but thank you.
What is
You're welcome, and I'm sorry.
What is exciting though?
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Is you fly past, and from outside we see a wing of Sonic's space shuttle just floating in space, and it flies to the side. And it,
Oh, so when it's broken, it's Sonic's shuttle.
Yeah, it's his fault.
It flies to the side,
and no one else.
And it breaks off one of the wings of this shuttle, which then starts spiraling out of control. And you have to make your way to the escape pods.
Okay, great.
Which we do, and it takes us like several hours to climb, back up to a safe spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do we want to play out anything before the final confrontation?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It was like, it wasn't good. It was a lot of screaming and yelling and like clawing over each other and blaming each other for things that we didn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I got dirt in my mouth.
Oh, sorry. Music played. So you fly all the way out, just spiraling out of control. Knuckles ends up stranded on the meteor herd, whereas Rouge ends up stuck in the mad space. At least, yeah. And they eventually make their ways up to a platform. Now, what this is for is tough to tell, because the meteor herd appeared yesterday. But this is a tall platform that looks to be almost mining. It's this large scaffolding architecture, and inside of it there's this pit of lava below. This lava rises and it shadows on a single thin bar. On one side, we see an angry, exhausted Echidna who's just furious. And then on the other side, we see a more quietly upset bat, and they speak.
Long time no see, treasure hunter. Did you find my emerald?
That's a good one. Your emerald. Talking to you is a waste of time.
I am Rouge the Bat.
I am Knuckles the Echidna. Now stop fooling around
And
give me back my emeralds. Nailed it.
All right.
Great. In the background, Omochao still has the little chalkboard, and he's, in addition to all the like what the sayings mean, he's written like little arrows about how each saying got to the next one, and then he writes an equal sign, and then looks back at this and goes, "Chemistry is my very favorite subject."
Oh, that would be such a cute place to end this, but unfortunately, in Reflections, it ends with a duel to the death. So,
so you're just watching this. He wants to see what the answer is. Bat.
So before we continue, what was your goal? What were each of your goals in the last scene?
Mine was to get my rival to admit a secret.
And mine was to get my rival to admit a secret.
Great. I said the word secret twice.
Yeah.
Nobody
so
bit.
you two have just made Omochao the buffest boy on the planet. So what happens is you each get 4 dice. Omochao gets the combined total, so Omochao has 8.
8 dice.
From this round. So how this game works is that you each have a set number of regular dice and tension dice. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen is you're going to roll a number of d6s equal to your regular dice. And the order for priority is whoever has the highest number prevails. So if one person has a 6, one has a few 5s, one has a 4, whoever has the 6 succeeds. Now, if your top number is the same, then whoever has the most. So let's say both Cat and Pranks have a 6, but Pranks has 2 6s. Pranks would win. So you roll your regular dice, we see who would win, and then you have the option to roll tension dice. Tension dice can add to your roll, but any number higher than your highest tension dice disappears. So let's say you were tied on the 6s, and Cat, you were like, well, I have 1 less 6, I've got to roll my tension dice. But your highest tension dice was a 4, your 6 goes away.
Oof, that's rough.
So, and the way this goes is in actual Reflections, it's a game of dueling samurai. So it's you go forward in a single swipe, someone like goes down, and then that's the end of the scene. We're not gonna have just like Rouge murder Knuckles in cold blood and leave him blind, bleeding on the pavement. We're gonna do this like the game. Basically, whoever does this wins the fight and gets to explain how things pan out until such point that we just have a nice little wrap up. So, I'm going to put in everyone's dice in the chat. I'm going to start by letting everyone know what their regular dice is so the listeners can know. Knuckles, you get to roll 9 d6s.
Okay.
Rouge, you get to roll 10 d6s.
Cool.
Omochao, you get to roll 12 d6s. So I gave you a dice roller online. Again, we don't have it anywhere physically here, so the dice roller, I think, is the most effective way, but you can do whatever means you want, and it's just for everyone to roll their die, and when you're done, let me know your highest dice and the number of it that you have. And while we do, I'm just going to make the music of the scene just do 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 do.
So I rolled 9 dice. I got 1 6 and 2
Okay.
5s.
So your highest is 6 and you've got 1.
Or 3 5s, actually.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I rolled the 12 dice, and my highest was 5, and I have 2
Okay.
of them.
So Omochao has 5. So right now, Knuckles is in the lead.
Only because Rouge hasn't rolled.
We'll see.
I rolled, so I rolled 10 dice. My highest is a 6, and I have 1 of them.
Okay.
Oh, so we're tied.
So your second highest is what's your second highest?
A 5.
How many of those do you have?
1.
Okay.
I have 3 5s.
So right now, unless anyone uses tension dice, Knuckles would win. However, if anyone wants to be aggressive, they can roll their tension dice. Knuckles has 4, Rouge has 3, Omochao has 2.
And my tension dice
So what they would do is they would basically add to your pool, but they remove any higher numbers that you have. So like if your highest tension dice was a 4, then your 5s would go away.
Okay. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Anyone else rolling?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so I'm rolling.
I mean,
my
there's
2.
no reason. There's no
Oh,
reason
I
for me
forgot
to
for
roll.
Omochao, there's hatred dice. Omochao, roll your hatred dice.
I'm gonna roll because you ripped up my shirt.
And I almost puked in it.
Yeah. Only because I got a 3 and a 4, which means my 5s go away.
All right, that means Knuckles.
Does Knuckles get to look cool?
Tell us how this
Knuckles
plays
gets to look
out.
cool. I'm genuinely happy for him.
Knuckles has had like a week. Okay. His home, he knows, has already crashed into the water. He's not happy about the level of water damage that must be down there in Crumb Gadget and Endless Mine, and in Marble Garden Zone. Like he knows
Oh no, Knuckles.
Angel Island real estate is dropping rapidly, and unless he does something to stem it. Sorry, what?
Oh, you just cut
Oh,
off.
sorry,
We got
you
the
were
key
frozen.
part, which is that his real estate is dropping rapidly.
And the island that he was sworn to protect is slowly sinking into the ocean. And like, it's not like this doesn't happen every year or so, but it's still not his favorite time. So, he, with like superhuman, like actually super echidna effort, manages. He like makes a calculation because, as Knuckles will tell you himself, he's not as dumb as he seems. He punches a like weak point in the structure, causing Rouge to like fall down. And when she does fall down, he like glides downwards, scoops her up, and puts her onto a platform safely, but ties like one of the iron bars around her with his superhuman strength. And he grabs the remaining emerald shards that she has, and starts saying Tikal's prayer. You know, the servers are 7 chaos. We've said it like 4 times in this, so I'm not going to say it again. But and the Master Emerald glows and reassembles, and it gets huge. It's like twice as tall as Knuckles is, much wider. And for a moment, all 3 of them are like can only take in how beautiful the Master Emerald is. And Knuckles like slinks to the ground, panting and exhausted. He grabs the Master Emerald and stores it in his little Knuckles hammer space. Although you know what? He's a marsupial, so he can store it. That's what I'm. No, he's not. He's a monotreme.
Yeah.
Oh no. Also, he's a male. He's a male. Hang on. Whatever. He has a backpack. Okay. And whether he's a marsupial aside, he's not. He's a monotreme. He puts the Master Emerald back in his backpack, and with the last of his strength, he unbends the bar that had been like restricting Rouge, and he grabs onto Omochao, and Omochao like flies them down, both of them down to a safe spot, and Knuckles just like lies down on the ground panting with effort. And then he looks over at Rouge and he says, "I'm sorry if I hurt you. Are you okay?"
She grumbly folds her arms. I'm fine.
What did you need it for anyway?
Well, do you know what's going on over at the Ark?
He scratches his head and he says, I have a bunch of missed calls from Tails that I haven't taken yet.
Yeah, maybe you should take the calls.
It's usually just Sonic prank calling me.
No, it's probably not that right now.
Okay. And then he goes over to like a corner and sits there with like his headphones on, and he's listening, and his expression grows more and more dire. And then he takes off his headphones, and then he says, I think we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we will segue. We will segue over to not to Chow Garden. We will segue over to Sonic. Sonic, who is in a little like capsule falling down, and you can see the dynamite outside is like counting down, like, and it's in an Eggman voice, like 10, 9, 8, 7, and you're talking to Tails, and as it hits 5, it crackles out, and you can't hear him anymore.
And I say, Tails, are you there? Tails? Okay, I've lost him. I've lost him. And his expression grows dire, and then he says, I've got to think fast. And he looks at the capsule. He looks at the Ark getting smaller and smaller as he falls away. And he says, I had a plan for this. I thought about this. What was it? What was the word? Remembering stuff is not my sore point. It's not my strong point. If Tails were here, he could... I've got to do it for Tails. Tails can handle this on my own, but I don't want to make Tails sad. I've got to figure it out. Can't get back to the Ark. I might be able to breathe in space, but I'm not sure I can survive re-entry. And Tails isn't around with the tornado to pick me up if I fall. Plus, I'd probably fall in the water. And this is all happening like within milliseconds, because Sonic, when he chooses to think, thinks very, very
we're
fast.
down to from 5 seconds to 4 seconds.
Yeah. And then Sonic says, I can't break the capsule, but maybe. And then his mind flashes back to Tails' YouTube channel. Tails' science stories. And this is something that Tails has been working on for a very long time. And the only person who will watch this YouTube channel is Sonic, because he loves Tails. Tails is his little brother, and he doesn't understand most of what's going on. He doesn't understand YouTube. He doesn't understand tablets. He doesn't really understand computers beyond them being something that he takes apart very, very quickly. But when Tails was little, he was very isolated, and he found a lot of comfort in taking machines apart and putting them back together again. And so Sonic would bring him lots and lots of scrap metal and lots of destroyed computers from Eggman. And Tails would put them back together while listening eagerly as Sonic told him about the adventures that he'd had and, you know, what Egghead was up to this time. And over the years, the adventures changed, and Sonic would be sitting in his favorite clothes sometimes on a beach chair while Tails would repair the computers and kind of chatter at Sonic about the new invention that he was working on, about the progress he's making and everything. And Sonic really didn't understand any of this, but he always listened, even if he tried to pretend as though he wasn't. And somehow, one of the things that got through to Sonic was a conversation he and Tails had years ago when Sonic was trapped on the Vegematic, which is a giant island that's a pinball machine. And no one knows why Robotnik built a pinball machine, but, you know, they just kind of go with it. And Sonic was telling Tails about all of the ricocheting he did and all of the ways he was trying to break out of this gigantic pinball machine. And what he wanted to know was why he couldn't seem to get enough momentum to actually break through the machine. And Tails, like, at first talked to him about physics and talked to him about, like, unbreakable glass and how much force he would actually need in order to break something like that. And that the reason that he would be having a lot of trouble is because he's rolling around and thus isn't able to get as much momentum because he's just kind of slipping. But if he were able to, like, stop on the ground and rev up and spin dash, he might be able to break it. But the best he could do is reorient the tube that he's in and move the tube left and right until it smashes against something that actually has the force to break it. So Sonic's remembering that. He's remembering like that horrible pinball adventure, and that Tails picked him up in the tornado like he always does at the end of it. And he suddenly just starts revving up in a super peel out. So his legs become figure eights, and he spins his legs faster and faster and faster. And then he pinball style starts ricocheting back and forth in the tube. And the first time he hits the tube spins because they're in the vacuum of space. So any small amount of force is going to make the tube rotate really, really fast. And once the tube starts moving really, really fast, Sonic is excited because this is his bread and butter. He knows how to deal with this. He knows how to deal with, like, being in situations where something is moving fast, even if it's not him. It's something he's inside. So he gets closer and closer and closer to the Ark until he produces the Chaos Emerald. And looking at the Chaos Emerald, he says, well, this probably wouldn't have worked with the fake one, but I'm glad I got close enough to do this. And all we hear him say is, Chaos, and then we cut.
And if it's all right, I know in the game there's a scene where we see Sonic and Knuckles. I'm going to cut straight to Shadow, if that's all right.
Absolutely. So, that would be weird for me.
So we we see the explosion in the distance, and we see just sitting atop a platform, just staring at it, kicking his legs. We just see Shadow staring. He's just pathetic. And as he looks, there's a little comm appears, and he sees just a blip of Eggman being absolutely thrashed on the Space Colony Ark. He just goes, I suppose I better help the good doctor out. And he goes and he slowly stands and, like, looks like he's going to slowly make his way back. When for a second, a streak of blue crosses his vision. And with the streak of orange, he disappears. Sonic, you are racing. Where are you racing to, and why are you racing?
To the horizon, and because it's what I do.
Okay, perfect. And as
it's a narrow space platform filled with rings, and I'll tell you why the rings are there, because you may be curious. Why would Robotnik litter areas with rings? Well, it's because other than Chaos Emeralds, rings are also a power source. So power rings show up everywhere, golden rings show up everywhere, and their ambient energy is what fuels a lot of Robotnik zones. Sonic says.
And as you're racing, suddenly next to you, a figure appears. And to us, it would just look like two blurs, but slowed down to match your speed, it looks like two guys just casually jogging. And you hear that edgy, like, Edgehog's voice, that freaking Hot Topic. You hear his voice go, and he goes, You never cease to surprise me, Blue Hedgehog. I thought that capsule you were exploded in space.
What can I say? I die hard.
It was a Chaos Emerald, wasn't it? But there's no way you could have activated Chaos Control using your brain. So, there's more to you than just looking like me. What are you, anyway?
What you see is what you get. I'm just a guy who loves adventure.
I see. But you know I can't let you live. Your adventuring days are coming to an end. And we are going to roll the last initiative. And both Sonic and Shadow are going to roll cool. And Sonic, just so Amy and Tails can be involved, I'm going to say that Shoulder Amy and Shoulder Tails suddenly, with like a spark of friendship, appear on Sonic's shoulder.
Yay.
I was going to summon them even if you hadn't.
Perfect.
So same page.
Fantastic. I will let you summon them at the appropriate moment then. But yeah, we're gonna roll cool.
Perfect.
Cool is a presence, right? Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Shadow is very cool. He has one more cool point than Sonic. Oh wait, I rolled the wrong thing.
But here's the thing. Once per encounter, I can add 2 threats to another character's social skill check as an incidental. So when I said I'm just a guy who loves adventure, that annoyed Shadow to the point that it gives him 2 setback on this check.
Okay. I gotta re-roll because I keep rolling incorrectly. So, all right, let me roll one more time. Okay, so you said 1 threat?
Yep.
All right.
2 threats, actually.
All right, perfect. What did you get for your roll?
So I'm just calculating here. It's cool, which is presence. I have 2 in presence and 2 in cool, so that's 2 yellow. But I have rapid reaction, which adds 1 bonus die when rolling initiative. So I'm actually rolling 1 blue and 2 yellow. Cool?
Perfect.
All right. 2 successes, 4 advantages.
Sonic goes first.
What about my pal? What did he get?
Less than that. 1 success and 3 advantages, and 2 of those advantages are gone. Yeah. In short, Sonic goes first. And how this would normally work is normally you and Shadow would be able to move 2 turns, and with the power of the Chaos Emerald, you could too. In this case, it's just going to be a back and forth, and to really aim for quick action. So reminder that for melee attacks, which is what both of you are going to be doing, it's just automatic 2 purple. 2 purple unless I say otherwise for threats. And I'm going to do the same.
Got it.
All right, so Sonic,
Okay.
you start the initiative. Tell me how this
I'm
works.
going to use my 4 advantages. Sure, I'm going to use my 4 advantages to pick up 8 rings because that's just best practices. Because why would you go into a boss fight without any rings?
Absolutely.
I'm looking at you, Sonic 2. So I've got 8 rings, and I'm like running, but I'm not running at my full power yet. You know, it's been a while since I had this much road to run on, and I honestly am kind of enjoying it. And it surprises me that I enjoy it. Like normally Shadow really, really gets under my skin. There's just something about him that rubs me the wrong way. But you know what? This is a race. It's gonna be fun. So I turn to Shadow and I give him a grin.
Shadow
And
gives you the
I
angry
am
Luigi.
going to I am going to use speed up.
Okay.
And that is me spending 5 rings. Hold on, let me find this ability. Yeah, speed up, 5 rings. Take an additional maneuver for the next 2 turns, and if no maneuvers are used, can use 2 actions instead. I'm not going to use maneuvers. I'm going to use actions. So instead of positioning myself and trying to go faster and farther, I'm going to attack him 3 times.
Because with the Chaos Emerald, I should specify each turn you get 2 actions, so that's now up to 3. All right, you're gonna attack him 3 times. Yeah. Give me 3 rolls to just hit this boy.
All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sweep the leg thing, which is I guess down. It's my down smash attack in ultimate. So I'm going to use my coordination to try to trip him
Okay.
up. So I am rolling. So that's 5 in agility and 1 in coordination, and I'm making a melee attack, which is 2 difficulty.
Okay.
And that is 4 successes and 2 advantages.
Okay. And you your spikes do 1 damage, right? Okay,
Mhm.
perfect.
So that's a total of 4 damage. Does that even pierce?
It
so to
does,
speak?
and I'm actually gonna do, just because this is Sonic, I'm gonna do, and because I gave Shadow ludicrous health, I'm gonna do the same thing where it's just the number of times you can pierce through his defenses. So
Got it.
you've pierced through his defenses.
So
And he's not happy about that.
And he drops some rings, which I grab.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he drops some rings, which I grab. So I am now back up to 7 rings by my count. And having done the like sweep the leg thing, the next thing I'm going to do is try to unlace his roller skates. So that is a I mean, it's agility, but I don't think it's like an attack, really. I think I'm just using my agility to try to mess with him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So this is just 5 green. And what's the difficulty here? I would understand if you made this more difficult.
Yeah, let's make it a 3.
What I'm doing... Okay, yeah. I mean, what I'm trying to pull off is absurd. That's 2 successes and 1 advantage. Can I ask that this not do any damage, but it slows him down a little?
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not using my spikes or anything. I'm just messing with
Yeah,
him.
I'm just going to say it just knocks him over. He just, like, flops down for a second. It's like, when you hit a wall in an old Sonic game and you lose all your momentum and you just got to pick it all back up again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for my last action, I am going to... Let's see. I think I'm just going to taunt him. That feels like Sonic, doesn't it?
Okay. How are you taunting him?
I'm going to say, listen, Shadow, I got to be honest. I don't know who you are. I've never heard of you. You just kind of showed up out of nowhere with that ridiculous smirk and started talking about how you're the coolest.
Notice he is scowling when you say ridiculous smirk. He is just frowning beyond recognition.
But you know what? Even though you're jockeying my style, I don't think you're such a bad guy. So here's a bit of free advice. Get out while you can, as far as the doctor's concerned. And then I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right, you're gonna make him mad. And then I'm assuming you just keep going.
Yep.
All right.
Just gonna keep going.
From behind you, just an angry shadow is just like sitting there picking himself up, undoing his laces. And you're moving around, you're feeling really, really good. You're feeling confident. And behind you just hear, "This is the ultimate!" And he blips away out of view. Not that you're seeing, but suddenly you hear from your shoulder someone yelling, "Wait, he appeared." Do we want to have one of the shoulder pals point out that no, Shadow is still around?
That
Shadow is not like Shadow is disappeared and chaos controlled. Never mind. I'm not going to dictate what other people do.
No, yeah, it's cool. I was just like, which one of
Yeah.
us? Which
wait,
one?
you want a shadow to come up and say shadow?
Never mind. Let's disregard it. Shadow
Okay.
disappears.
I'm sorry.
He flips away, and suddenly a spark in front of you appears. And you hear Chaos Spear! And suddenly a bunch of the light that appears, this bright light, reshapes into concrete shards, which fly at you, Sonic. And this is going to be an agility, and I'm going to just use the regular difficulty. And that's going to be 3 successes and 1 advantage. And I don't have here what Chaos Spear does. So we're going to say that it does 5 damage. There you go. It does 5 piercing damage, because why not? So 5 damage that goes straight through past all of your soak. And yeah.
Can I mitigate some of the damage by dropping rings?
Yeah.
So I'll drop 2 rings in order to not take 2 points of damage. If
Okay,
that works.
perfect. Yeah. But you're a bit disoriented by this, and your next thing is going to have a setback die. You're going to have a black die for your next roll. That's going to be his advantage.
Makes sense. All right. Not bad, Faker. But we're just getting started. And then I am still running. And as I'm running, I'm thinking, normally I don't have this much time to think in battles. Normally battles are over
By now.
And by now there aren't like long stretches where I can consider my next actions. he's just going to admit it to himself. This is fun. He's into this. He's having a good time. This isn't about like some sort of ancient machine, a water demon, a bunch of slap fights happening over who's going to get a Chaos Emerald, having to talk some sense into his densest friend again about whether or not he's trying to steal the Master Emerald. This is like uncomplicated running, and that's like Sonic's favorite thing. So he's like rubbing his side where the Chaos Spear hit him, but he's still grinning. So the next thing he's going to do is he realizes that Shadow has more attacking power than him. There's not a lot he can do about that. But he's pretty sure Shadow can't match him in speed, especially considering that he's just sped up. So what he's going to try to do is take all 3 of his actions to move and just speed ahead, gathering as many rings as he possibly can while he tries to figure out a way to stop Shadow, because he can't see where Shadow's attacking from, because Shadow's almost as fast as him, or as fast as him, to be honest, but this is Sonic we're talking about. But what the difficulty is that he can't see where Shadow's attacking from. So he's going to have to figure out if there's some sort of cue. So instead, Kyle, I'm going to take the next 3 maneuvers, just putting as much distance as I can between me and Shadow, and grabbing as many rings as I can. Does that work?
Yeah. Give me a roll to just pick up rings. No difficulty. Just every success and every advantage is going to be 2 rings.
Okay. So I'll just have this be I guess just straight agility, don't you think?
I think straight agility is good.
And what's the
No
difficulty?
Just however many successes and advantages you get.
And do I roll 3 times since I'm doing 3 maneuvers, or like how does this
that'll
work?
be like the nice thing. There's no difficulty. You're just focusing all your energy.
Got it. 3 successes, 2 advantages. So what do the successes translate
We're
into?
just going to translate into more rings. You got 10 rings. Unless you...
Dope. So I am at... Nope. I love it. So I'm at, what, 15 rings now?
Something like that.
That's a lot of rings. Okay, great. And I'm still running. Let's see what my rival is up to now.
We flash back to Shadow. He sees you move and he's like, having fun. Avoid the doctor. He doesn't grasp the gravity of the situation. I am. And he goes, this is the and he stops before finishing the phrase and he says, no, I am the ultimate. Something, and he looks down at his power bands. Something none of them understand. And I'm going to flip the last shadow point over. And Sonic, you hear a sonic boom in space. And you see this orange and red, just monstrous force of energy flying towards you at like breakneck speed. It's warping the space around it, which seems to be reverberating violently. And all we can see as it flies away is we can see 4 broken restraining rings on the ground. And this thing is going to race towards you, and I am not going to have him roll because Shadow is no longer an enemy. He is an environmental obstacle, and he is catching up to you very quickly. He is basically akin to the truck, yet deadlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's your move, Sonic.
Well, I taunted the truck, too.
I like how Shadow is having this deep, like, emotional crisis, and Sonic's just like, trucks.
Hey, yeah, Shoulder Tail's popping in here.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Yeah, you can think pretty fast, so we're just gonna have a conversation in the few seconons before.
Hey, I'm not dead. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it's great, and I can't wait for my subconscious to get on that level. Yeah.
I'll be honest, though, Tails. There were times I did think it was game over.
Right. I'm gonna not think about that. Instead, I'm gonna think about the power output coming off of him.
So there are a few things that we need to think about with something like that, right? Power output from a living being means that he's generating it from somewhere and he's gonna run out. So we don't know what time period
Unless
that
he
is.
has another power source.
Yeah.
Unless he has another power source, like a Chaos Emerald.
Right, which you have. So you could just let him run out of steam, probably, if you can manage to stay away from him. Or the different thing about him right now, if you look, is right that those things on his wrists are gone. So we could try to replace those.
Sonic smiles really, really wild. And he says, "You're a genius, Shoulder Tails."
Yep.
Um,
And you are too, if you bother to think, because I'm in your head.
and Sonic says, "I deserve that." And he turns around, and he looks at, like, you can't really look directly at Shadow right now because he's like a blazing sun.
Yeah.
He's just this like floating, terrifying, like almost like small hedgehog-sized star.
Basically, yeah.
But Sonic looks at him and he like does the nose thing, and he says, "I wonder what Chaos Control plus homing attack does." And he jumps up, curls up into a ball, and he executes a homing attack, which the way homing attack works is you're doing a ranged attack against something, spending 5 rings, and then for each successful hit, you can attack another enemy in short range. Kyle, I want to ask a question, which is, can I attack objects that are not enemies using homing attack the way you can in the game?
Yeah, I see no problem with that.
Cool. I'm barreling towards Shadow as fast as I possibly can, and I can feel like the energy and heat radiating towards him. But before I hit Shadow, a thing which I know is a very bad idea in his current limited state, I'm going to, at the last second, my plan is to homing attack asteroids that are near him, jumping from asteroid to asteroid and bouncing from asteroid to asteroid. And while Shadow is distracted, trying to follow where I'm going and hitting me with Chaos Spears, I want to get in close and put one of the power rings on him.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have, if I remember correctly, still, it says for the next 2 turns, I can take, oh no, that speed up is over, right? Because we already had 2 turns?
Yeah, we already had 2 turns.
Okay, so I'm just going to do homing attack, and I have 2 actions in which to do it, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, homing attack is a single action that goes indefinitely, so you just can chain it as long as you want.
Oh, okay.
It's just successively harder each time.
So, okay, well, I will just use my ranged ability, and I'm going to spend that Sonic point that Shadow just used, in order to change one of the greens into a yellow. Okay. And then what's the difficulty here? Keeping in mind that I'm not trying to hit Shadow, I'm trying to hit asteroids.
I'm going to say each asteroid is easy until you go after Shadow, who will be a level 3. Because you're using the Chaos Emerald. So this is asteroid number 1. Without the Emerald, he would have been a 5.
Okay.
Yeah, so give me the roll for the first asteroid.
The first one is 2 successes, 2 advantages.
Chaos Spear! Except it's much more garbled. It's like oh, that was much more Cookie Monster than I was intending. But it's like speaking through something, and you can see almost like an arm, like these spears just fly out and haphazardly shoot towards the comet asteroid, and it misses you, of course, because you're already on your way to the other asteroid.
Shadow, you say the nicest things, and I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
So this is 1 extra setback for asteroid number 2. This is 5 successes and 1 advantage. So the way I'm envisioning this is just like the homing attack noise.
Yeah, and I can say you've done 2, so I'm gonna say you can just You've succeeded so hard. Just describe how many asteroids you hit, but we'll only count it as 1 in game terms.
So what's actually happening is I did only hit 1 asteroid, but that asteroid broke into smaller pieces, and I kept hitting the smaller pieces, which if anyone's played Sonic Adventure 1 or Sonic Adventure 2, you can just jam the button and keep hitting things over and over and over again, and hit a boss and kill a boss in like 1 hit if you just keep jamming the button. So that's what I'm doing on this poor asteroid. And I'm now going to try to get close enough in order to hit Shadow.
Okay.
So this is my final homing attack, and you said it's 3 difficulty?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's 3 difficulty, but I'm going to upgrade one of them to a red die.
Okay. And I am going to spend one of my advantages to give myself a boost here.
Okay.
Oh, man. Wash.
It's a wash.
So I think the wash is that Shadow sees what I'm doing and moves his arm out of the way before I can get to it. And I fall back down on the ground in like a crouched position, but I'm not hurt.
Can I make an alternate suggestion?
You're the GM.
All right. Just because I think we're ramping up to like this big finale, and the big thing is Sonic versus Shadow, energy versus energy, right? Mm-hmm. Shadow has fully unleashed himself. He is this speeding red light, the speeding red and orange light spiraling away. Sonic has the power. Sonic usually needs 7 Chaos Emeralds to unleash his full power. But does he really need them at all? He grabs the single emerald and he starts moving in the opposite direction towards Shadow. Suddenly we see this giant orange light racing one way, this giant this giant blue light racing the other way, and they just collide with each other in a massive explosion. And what we see inside of them is we see Shadow and Sonic each running in the aftermath with their feet, no real energy around them, just head-to-head butted against each other. And he's...
Not bad, Faker.
How do you know everything that I'm going to do? How do you have a response to everything I'm going to do?
Strange, isn't it?
I am the ultimate life form. Not a single life form can stand up against me.
You know what, Shadow? You're right. You are the ultimate life form. You're very powerful. No single life form can stand up against you. But you know something? I'm not a single life form. I've got friends. Friends who'll look out for me no matter what dumb stuff I get up to. Friends who'll have my back no matter how annoying I am in confined spaces. Not like Eggman. Real friends. And you might be able to defeat me here. But until you get some friends, you'll always be in my shadow. And with like a lot of effort, he pushes for one final punch at Shadow.
All right, give me... You don't need to roll. Describe how this punch hits.
I hit him, which is great. It's very impressive to hit Shadow. Unfortunately, he also hits me. And he doesn't punch me, he kicks me, because Shadow is actually more of
He's a kick boy.
A kick person. He's a kick boy. If I were smart, I would be kick boy too. I don't know why I don't do that. Anyway.
Too much fun with Knuckles.
We hit each other. That's probably what it is. All of my bad ideas come from Knuckles. That's what I'm going to claim. So we hit each other at the same time. We drop all of our rings, which is a bad situation. And we're lying on the ground, exhausted, collapsed next to each other. And both of us are too tired to even grab, for any of the rings that are near us. And like panting, I turn to my side and I look at Shadow and I say, "Good game. We should do this again sometime.
And he just looks at you and he's like, not bad for a fake. And before he can finish fake, he just collapses on the ground, and his little pad that he's been using to talk to Eggman slides over to you.
I grab it, give the camera a big thumbs up, say "ow," and pick up the communicator.
All right, and we are going to flash forward to Eggman, who is just running as fast as he can. We can now see we're in this big, like, almost pulsating heart, and inside of it, there's this long, like, this large, almost diamond, but it's more organic, with diamond shape, not diamond, with 6 Chaos Emeralds in it, and he has this yellow one, and he's racing towards it. Huff, puff. Amy and Tails, what are you two up to?
Slowly ambling behind him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
not very fast.
No, we're chasing.
Like,
Half-heartedly
keeping
chasing
pace.
him.
Alright.
yeah, this is much easier than keeping pace with
And
Sonic. This is a breeze.
Eggman makes it to the end and he grabs the emerald, and you see him like triumphantly, almost like he'd do evil laughter, but it's like because he's too tired, and he grabs the emerald and he slams it into the device, and he turns over to you and goes, "Ha! I win! The laser is on, Sonic is dead." And that's when you hear a voice come from Eggman's communicator.
Oh,
Uh,
Sonic?
yeah,
Sonic.
Sonic's voice come from his communicator.
Hey guys, long time no see.
Sonic!
Sonic!
What?
You know what, Eggman? I gotta hand it to you. I honestly can't believe I got out of that one. And it was all thanks to Shadow, actually.
What did that rodent do this time?
You know, honestly, if you hadn't sent Shadow out of me and you just launched me out of a pod into space, I'd probably be dead right now. So thanks, Eggman. Could you be a pal and give the phone to Tails?
Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah, here.
This is for
Thanks.
you.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Sonic!
Hey, Tails. How's your thing going?
Terribly. Eggman's about to put the Chaos Emerald and activate the laser.
Yes, how are you all so calm? You can see it powering up with all the
We're
emerald's
very
energy.
scared. No, it's terrifying.
Oh, great. Amy's there too. Well, I just want to say it was an honor fighting beside you. And I don't know if Angel Island's where we all go when we die, but if we do, I'll see you there.
Okay, great. I'll see you there if that's where we go.
All right. Love you, Tails.
Yeah, love you too. Bye.
And then Sonic hangs up.
Why aren't you fighting anymore? Why aren't you resisting?
Because it was really tough to fight you and we're so tired.
You've won. You just declared it really loudly.
Then why do I feel so empty?
That's something you're gonna have to figure out for yourself.
And then and then he looks down and he gets real quiet and the panting goes and he just goes, as the engine starts powering up and it starts sparking around and energy starts coursing, he just goes, "It's a fake, isn't it?"
Tails just pats him.
Amy just nods, but she's also taking a video she might use for later.
Years, months later, and by months I mean days, because Twitter goes real fast, and so does YouTube.
Very fast.
Amy would end up on a show actually a late night show. On the late night host,
Vector would be a late night
Vector the
host.
crocodile is like, a crocodile. So Amy, can you tell us about your hot hit? Eggman scrambles himself again.
You know, Vector, one of my favorite moments in my life. You know, he's not very self-aware a lot of the time, so it was nice to see him have a true moment where he realized who he was as a person. And you know, that's okay because we can all move forward from this.
You're absolutely right, and it is definitely very, very entertaining. Shall we roll the tape?
Oh, please do. I never get tired of it.
All right, let's roll it.
It's captioned on Twitter. It's captioned like, it's become a meme now that people use for like me when I find out my engagement ring is fake, or like me when I slightly overheat my macaroni and cheese, and like all this other really silly stuff.
And so we see this as he says, "Roll the tape, Espio." And Espio says nothing because he's camouflaged, because he's a ninja. But the tape does roll, and we see the view that we had before. It's a bit shaky. It's, like, it's a fake, isn't it? We see Tails just tap his head. And suddenly, behind it, we just see explosions ripple down. The Chaos Emeralds are fine, but we see them go down and pulsate as this, as the bands of light going on this just start to collapse in upon themselves, and down, this giant horrific thing explodes, looking almost as if, like, because it's right by the nose of Eggman, looking like he got just a real bad, like, flu is basically how it looks. It looks like a real bad cold, and we see the explosion ripple down. We no longer see the video camera. We see it in its full glory, and as we see the explosion in the distance, just in front of it, we see a small gloved thumbs up. And that is Sonic Adventure 2 Roleplay, the hero story. Thanks so much for listening. Listening, I'm so used to podcasts. Thanks so much for playing, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. I guess do we all want to just, before we wrap it up, all talk about ourselves and what we do? And while you do that, do we want to do if anyone has any additional scenes for their characters, feel free to say what they're up to, as you introduce yourselves. And we'll go in the same order we've always gone. We'll go in the order of Sonic, Tails, Amy, and then I'll talk about our pal, Eggman.
I'm Pranks Paul. I was Sonic and Knuckles, and Flashback Shadow. I had a great time. I love Sonic, obviously, and it was a joy to play with all of you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. You can find me on Twitter at RogueTLDR, and my currently dormant show, Never Tell Me the Pods, is where I talk about Star Wars. And I think we sometimes mention Sonic on that too. I mean, that sounds right. And I'm also on a fantasy show for all ages called Autonomic, which is an Indo-Ecuadorian show that I create with Kat. But I will let Kat talk more about that. Once again, this was a 3D blast, and thank you so much for having me.
Hi, I'm Kat Cool. You can, I guess I should say who I played. I played Miles Tails per Hour. I played Rouge the Bat, and I also played Flashback Maria. And I loved doing this. This was really, really fun. Thank you so much for having me on to do this, everyone. And playing with me. I feel like after this, Tails has gone into like a conspiracy theory hole because he has realized that he's gone into a bit of a dark place as he's realized that the government computers are very easy to get into. There are a lot of ridiculous weapons programs, frankly. So that's what Tails is up to. Collecting old tech and trying to figure out what all of it has been created for nefarious purposes. I can be found online on Twitter at cat_cool_ with cool spelled like my last name, Kuhl. And also around making various content on the Twitch. That's the streaming.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Mhm.
Yes. At at cool_kid with again cool spelled like my last name, Kuhl. And then also as Prank said, we make a lovely actual play podcast, which can be found at autonomicpodcast.com with autonomic spelled like the nervous system. That's me.
And you should find a slightly out of order, but links to all of those below. I didn't type in the name, so you didn't hear me clickety-clacketing, but you can see links appear as people say them. For example, Hallie.
That's me. I'm Hallie. I played Amy Rose and Oma Chow. After the events of this, I imagine that Amy experienced a notable level of fame, having started a meme and been on a cool late night show. It probably didn't last for nearly as long as she wanted it to, but she had a blast the entire time she was famous, and she would text Sonic and be like, "Did you see me on the show?" It was another one. It was at like 7 p.m. It wasn't a big deal. That kind of stuff. You can find me on Twitter at Hallie Kuntz. It's just my name. I'm making sure there's not an underscore. Yeah, it's just my name. HALLIEKOONTZ. You can also kind of find me at Catching Up David on Twitter, spelled just Catching Up David, all those words. I have a friend named David who is my age, but has never seen anything at all. Like, he hasn't seen National Treasure. He hasn't seen Mean Girls. Just a really sorrowful existence. So I make fun of him with somebody else on our podcast while he experiences pop culture for the first time. We're watching Pokemon the movie next, and we're very excited about it.
Yay!
I'm genuinely thrilled to see someone who doesn't know Pokemon very well experience Pokemon the movie.
Yeah, if you want to know what kind of things they've watched, the most recent episodes, you got The Social Network, Mean Girls, The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah, we made like a pop culture canon, and we watch popular movies that have influenced the larger movie-going society, but towards our age.
Serious things,
we made an exception for Pokemon
action
the
movie things, you know. Mediocre comedies like The Hangover, and amazing comedies like B-Movie.
That's one word for it. Certainly is.
My whole exposure to this movie is through Catching Up David. It sounds delightful.
It's so much worse than I ever remember it being is the problem. Anyway, you can also find me at Quest Friends, but I will let Kyle talk about Quest Friends.
Yeah, so I'm Kyle. You can find me online at Decalodeon. This is the only time I've mentioned my Twitter, but I realized I probably should mention it more often. But my big focus is you can find us at Quest Friends. Do you want to find Quest Friends? Congratulations, you're already there. Quest Friends is a actual play podcast in the Numenera system. It takes place 1 billion years in the future. It's lots of fun things. It's typically considered like fantasy, but sci-fi and weird, like Breath of the Wild or Horizon Zero Dawn. I use it to make Las Vegas Disneyland, which is just Eggman Land, I realized. One of our areas is just Eggman Land, complete with a death roller coaster that has no reason to exist.
Not a one.
We're currently on an arc with the Speedy Speed Boys, named after the song Speedy Speed Boy from Initial D, and they're the world's nicest drifters. They're a drifter gang, but they're just the sweetest boys. So it's an absolute blast to play. There is a bit more cursing than there is in some like Autonomic, but I'd still encourage you to check it out at questfriendspodcast.com. This was a delight to play. Thank you so much for everyone for watching, everyone for playing. I had this idea randomly while listening to Live and Learn on a business trip, and then I tweeted out about it, and I texted Hallie, I'm like, I gotta do this. And I wasn't sure what to do. And then I saw once that Pranks and Cat, I think you each gave each other like a Shadow the Hedgehog as like a gift. And I was like,
That did happen.
Like, that was our Christmas present to each
That was
other.
our Christmas present.
It was a deeply embarrassing thing to happen.
I saw that tweet and I'm like, I know how I can make this happen. So thank you so much for joining. This was an absolute joy. Again, thank you so much for watching. Check us out on all of the links that I've linked there. Check us out on social media. Check us out all around. And if you want to stick around for if I ever try a project like this again, either with Sonic or with something else, I know many people who would want to do Phoenix Wright. Subscribe. We've got role-playing bonus stuff like this, but we've also got games and other fun stuff. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see all of you.
You know, it's a shame though that there isn't more content to cover.
Yeah, it'd be
in Sonic Adventure 2.
It's a shame. Oh, right. Right before I cut to our credits sequence, I'm going to do a final monologue, and I'm actually going to, if everyone could mute themselves on Zoom, because we're going to do this monologue and cut straight into the credits. We end on a final scene. We're a bit of a ways into the future, and we are in a gun base. This is actually the remade Prison Island, but it's now just Prison Peninsula, because it's new and they couldn't make a new island. You see a soldier, this commander. You see the boy with heterochromia, but he's a lot older now. He's in a military uniform. He's got the G patch on his shoulder. He walks in and opens up a cell. And inside, we see just sitting there delightfully, Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik. And he just sits there and he's like, "Oh, what would you like to talk about today, Commander?" And the commander doesn't say anything, but he walks in, takes a seat, and slams a file down on the table that says nothing else other than the Bio Lizard Project.